All righty, this is so fun. And here we are. We are live on Facebook, and I think I goobered up. We have technical difficulties, so I will have to go on StreamYard later and brag about Vanessa. We're going to say, okay, fine, you don't get to play with us tonight. We'll get rid of that, and we'll just be here hanging out with our friends on Facebook. And I'm hoping that everybody remembered that we are going to be doing this. And I will just say now, for those of you who are going to be watching live, so many of you have been to many of our gatherings, don't forget to ring in where you're coming from and let us know that you're here. And I see an eyeball, so somebody has arrived. There's Nancy. Hi, Nancy. I'm glad you could make it. Thanks for coming. This is going to be a really fun evening. I am looking forward to this, and I am going to be speaking with the award-winning Vanessa Miller, who is just such a gracious lady. And I'm very excited to be hanging out with her because actually we've never met in person, but we have a publisher in common. And so we've met when all the authors gather online. But so this is gonna be fun. So here's some more of our regular gang. Hi, Diane, coming in from New Jersey. Leslie's coming in from Pennsylvania. Hi, Cindy from Ohio. All you East Coast guys, we just appreciate, I know by now you're like, wait a minute, I should be watching TV. And instead you're watching us. So we appreciate that. So very excited to be here with Vanessa. I'm going to hold up her book that I am in the process of reading. And this is just, yes, good, yes, if you can get in a better shot of that. This is actually an advanced reader copy I have got here that I begged and pleaded for. Oh, I see. Who did I just see? Hi, Teresa. Hi, Anne. Hi, Heather. Hey, you guys, I'm so happy you came. I know you're going to enjoy talking with Vanessa. Like I just said, she's an award-winning author. And one of the things I like about Vanessa, she's a historical writer, and she shines a light on things, chapters in our history that sometimes I think we would rather just keep in the dark or sweep under the carpet. And, we've had a lot of World War II books and things, but I think it's not a bad idea sometimes to talk about what's going on in our own country's history. Don't you think? She's nodding. Yes, she thinks so.
Absolutely. I thought maybe you were asking the audience, the people who were coming up, but absolutely, we should shine a light on our own history and what goes on in this country.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I love the fact that I like to think we are making progress. I feel like we are here in my corner of the world, and I think it's so important. I'm big on women's friendships, as many of you know. I'm big on intergenerational friendships, and I'm also big on friendships with people from other races and colors, because you really learn from each other that way. And sometimes you get these preconceived ideas of what people are like, or that they're not going to like you. And the only way to get past that is to reach out and become friends with people. And then you realize, oh my gosh, these people are so cool. And I got to tell you, Vanessa, most everybody knows here that for several years we were attending a Black church, and we had moved, we were looking someplace nearby to attend, and we drove by that church, and my husband said, oh, here, let's try that. I'm like, oh no, they'll hate us. Which was really stupid, because we went there and oh my gosh, those women all loved on us. It was just such a cool experience, and we had such a great time, and it was really fun. I learned about the right way to do fried chicken. I learned about the importance of macaroni and cheese. Anyway, but we just had such a good time. It was just interesting to see different attitudes growing up, different things that people learned, different ways that people thought. And you can't know that unless you get out there and meet people, wouldn't you think?
Correct.
Yeah, so I think it's really great. And oh, I see Jeannie's joined us, and Heather and Kathy, Teresa. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm looking forward. Let's just get right down to it, because I do want you to get to know Vanessa. Isn't she gorgeous? Oh my gosh. Anyway, but she's more than a pretty face. She is a really talented writer. How many books have you got under your belt so far?
Well, I've written, I believe this one is my 55th book.
Wow. Your 55th, 5-5?
5-5, the filling station, 5-5.
Wow. You started writing after I did, and you have that many books. Oh my gosh. Because when did you say your first book was published?
My first book came out in 2003, but I've been writing since I was a kid. I always knew that writing was the thing that I was put on this earth to do. And so for several years, I would write uh, about 4 books a year. And those were novellas. So those are counted in
Ew.
my 55. But
Holy
yeah,
moly. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's amazing. That's a huge body of work. And of course, you're just getting warmed up. I know you have many more books that you're going to be writing. Hi,
yes.
by the way, to Cindy and Heather, Patricia. Oops, got itchy nose. This is just, wow. I can't get over that output. That is just amazing. So you've been doing this. You were always writing as a kid.
Mhm.
So when your first book was published, did you do something to celebrate? What was that like when you saw your first book published? That had to be, it's such a moment for authors when that happens.
You know, here's the thing, and this is something I hadn't thought about, but my first book was the only book I did a release party for. And that book was titled Former Rain. And I'm actually doing a release party again this year for the filling station. It will be here in Charlotte on March the 15th.
Oh,
And
wow. Wow.
so I've got some of my reader friends coming in for that event, and so I'm excited about it. And it's the second time I've actually done a release party. Normally I just go to bookstores and just start doing book events when a book releases, but I'm going to gather with everyone who wants to gather with me, and we're just going to enjoy ourselves and kind of just appreciate this book.
That's so cool. And it is an excellent book. I have already started it and just got sucked right in. I just love the characters, and
Thank
it's
you.
got, gosh, the beginning definitely starts with a bang. So it's quite the read. I want to circle back to the award-winning part of your life as a writer. You just won a big award. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Go ahead, brag.
Well, the American Queen just won the Christie Award for the Amplified Award with the Christie organization, and so I'm very, very thankful for that. This book is my love letter to history. When I found out about the fact that there actually was a queen in America, and her name was Luella Bobo Montgomery, I knew I had to write her story. And I'm very thankful that I've been able to do that. And this book also is a finalist right now in the Audie Awards. And so the narrator for the American Queen, her name is Angel Penn. That's Pean. She is amazing. And so if you guys want to listen to this book, go grab it. It's on sale right now this month. The audio, because she does a fantastic job with that story, and so I'm hoping that she wins that award. But we final, and so I'm very happy about that.
That's awesome. Now explain, oh, by the way, all of you who've come in, hi Tanya, and I think Kathy has come in. Those of you who've and Ann has joined us, thank you guys for joining us. For those who may not know what the Christie Award is, this is a big deal, but can you tell them what that award is for the people who've never heard of it? There might be someone who doesn't know what that is.
Well, it's like an award for authors for excellence in Christian fiction. And so we're both with Thomas Nelson, and this book, it is historical, but there are some very definite Christian elements to it, because that's just my brand. That's how I write. I like to bring God into my stories. And so this one is no different, even though it's historical.
Very cool. And that's a cool cover. So I'm going to hold up Filling Station. You hold up American Queen.
Okay.
We're going to take a vote. Okay, because she was saying she thinks American Queen, that was a better cover. What do you guys think? Which cover do you guys like the best? Cast your vote. Let us know. Not that any of us have any say of it, because it's a done deal. I think they're both really cool covers. I like this one because of the colors. I think it really pops. But what do you guys think as far as the different colors? Which one do you like? Do you like the African Queen, or do you like the Filling Station? By the way, the Filling Station,
The American Queen.
Oh, I said, what did I say? The
That's
The
okay.
American,
The African Queen. That's okay. It's the American Queen. But yeah,
the
I
American.
like the filling station too. I think this cover is very beautiful. I just happen to think I don't think they'll ever top this one as one of my covers. But I could be wrong. They could my
It's
next
so
cover
subjective.
to blow it
Cover
out
art.
to blow it out the water.
I know, I know. Cover art is always a subjective thing. That is for sure. And oh, Cindy, who said that? Cindy says, "Thank you, Vanessa, for bringing God into your stories." Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Jeannie says she likes both. And yes, the colorful one is nice, but I like the silhouette of the American Queen. So there you have it.
Mhm.
Both are nice, but I like the filling station, says Kathy. So isn't that
Okay.
interesting? Too
Yeah.
fun. Oh my gosh. But and the filling station, by the way, was a real place. And what I love about this book
Mhm.
is that at the end, Vanessa goes into great detail to tell you not only about the things and the people mentioned in this book, but at the end, she's got a whole list of the different places where she researched so that you're going to actually find out if you want to go learn more for yourself. She's
Mhm.
giving you a lot of tools to do that. And I like that when historical writers do that because sometimes you read it and it just whets your appetite and you want to
Yes.
know more.
And
So,
I've been told that people who read The American Queen, they said they started Googling the Kingdom of the Happy Land because that was the name of their land.
oh, I love it.
And if once you Google, you're going to see all of these papers that have been written about this area. And so that was amazing. And so I'm looking forward to hearing about the people who now will begin to Google Greenwood and find out about this amazing place that was once called Black Wall Street.
Yeah, I had never heard of that. That was interesting. And we may as well jump ahead because somebody is already asking for a description of what the filling station is about. So, Diane,
Okay.
can you just give us a little taste of what this book is about?
Absolutely. So the filling station is about the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, but it's not just about the massacre. It's also about the resilience of people who will never give up, people who pull themselves back up by their own bootstraps, and they begin to rebuild this area that is torn down through violence and hate. And what they do is even though they're denied insurance money, the mayor of Tulsa does not want to help them. He actually wants to try to sell their land to other people, and even with the Red Cross, they are told that they have to work for every penny of relief that they receive because in 1921, they are told that Black people are a working class of people, so they must work for every relief that they receive instead of understanding that they had just gone through the most horrific thing that anyone could have ever gone through, and they might need a moment to kind of rest their mind. But that is what actually happened. And so I tell you, well, actually, I show you, the horrific parts of this story and the truly unfair parts of what occurred to these people. But then I also show you I bring in the inspiration by showing you just how they were able to rise up anyway. They were able to rebuild this area, and it became more successful in that time period than it was before it was destroyed. So
Oh,
it
I love
it
that.
is a story of resilience.
That is so. I just love that. I love that they were able to rebuild and build even better. That's just so, guys. Even though
Absolutely.
the story has got some challenges and some hard parts, you are going to get a happy ending at the end and feel encouraged when you come away after reading this book. And I think I'm really enjoying it, Vanessa. It's just a beautifully
Thank
written
you.
book, and I can hardly wait to see how this all works out. And I've reached the point where the sisters have gotten to the filling station, so I have
Yes.
ways to go. But
And so the reason why it's named the filling station instead of Greenwood, which is Greenwood was the place they lived before the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. But there was also this filling station in Luther, Oklahoma. and it was called the Threat Filling Station. And there were several people who ran to this filling station for a safe haven after this massacre. And so we are celebrating the Threat Filling Station in this book. And that is why we decided to title it The Filling Station, because before they can ever go back and begin to rebuild their area, they need to be rebuilt, within themselves and their spirit, their mind, and they receive that at the filling station, and then they're able to go back and rebuild.
Yes, yes. Love that. Love that. Well, now, when the book comes out, will you do something special to celebrate? Do you celebrate every time a new book comes out?
Well, I used to. Well, I'll tell you, I told you that the only time I did a release party was for my first book, and I'm doing a release party for the filling station, and that will be here in Charlotte, and on March 15th. And so I'm celebrating like that with my readers who want to come in. We have on my website, which is just vanessamiller.com, there's a link where people can go and register for that event here in Charlotte. And we have people coming in from all over to celebrate the release of the book. But I used to go and I would go somewhere, and I forget which restaurant I would go to, but I would get myself a brownie with ice cream and whipped cream all over the top, and I would sit there and I would just enjoy it, and just for just saying, okay, I finished, this was complete. But I'm older now, and I have to leave all of that stuff alone. so
No
so
more brownies,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. So I just now I'm just happy when I see the books. That's it.
I'm impressed with your self-control because I'd still have my face in the brownie, I've got to say. Well, oh yeah, now you mentioned the date, the time, and where's the location before we forget for your
Oh, we're
listeners.
going to be at the Hilton Airport Hotel on March 15th. The event begins with a luncheon. And because this book takes place in the 1920s, we're doing the luncheon 1920 style. So people are going to come in with their, 1920s gear, and we're going to have it decorated in their 1920s. And
Oh,
so
I
that's going to be fun. Yeah. And then we're going to do a silent book club. Well, and of course, I'm going to do a book signing at the end of the lunch, and we'll take pictures and things like that. And then we do silent book club. And then everybody comes back together later on that evening for just some pajama party fun.
Oh my gosh, this is a celebration. So I'm
Yes.
assuming people really do need to register. Is there a
Yes.
charge for this?
Yes, it's 119, and then there's also a breakfast that comes with your registration the next morning. So you get the
Holy
lunch,
moly!
you
Wow.
get the lunch, you get a copy of the filling station, the pajama party, and then you get a big buffet breakfast the next morning.
Wow. So this is like girls' weekend, guys. So any of
Yes,
you who are in the area down there, I think you're going to want to check this out. By the way, Jeannie did say that American Queen is on sale right now on Audible. Oh, for only
it is.
$7.99, guys.
It
Wow.
is. I that's what I was saying. If you want to listen to that book, you want to go grab it because they just put it on sale. I think it just went on sale starting yesterday. So it is an amazing read. Angel Penn did, such a great job. And if there's some authors out there listening and you need a narrator, her the way her last name is spelled is Pean, Angel Penn, and she's amazing. As I said, she's up for the Audie Awards right now with the American Queen, and she finaled in that, and we'll know on, I think, March 4th if American Queen actually wins that award or not.
Oh, wouldn't that be
But
nice?
yeah,
Wow.
okay, she's got some stiff competition in that in the area she's in. So I don't know, but she finaled, so I'm really happy about that.
Very cool. That's exciting. Oh my gosh. Lots of good things going on for Vanessa, and it's all well deserved. And speaking of celebrating, I had emailed her. First, I got to show you guys this because how cute is this? Is that like the cutest thing? My mom made this in, like, I don't know, probably the 50s. And
Mhm.
it's like you can't, I'm getting closer, you can see the little bouquets, all little ribbons. This was before you could just go to Hallmark and buy something. So this thing is ancient like me, but I love this. And Valentine's Day and Galentine's Day. I love that we're doing Galentine's Day now. How fun is that? I don't know if do any of you guys celebrate Galentine's Day with your girlfriends? Because I have a great suggestion. I saw this somewhere on social media. Somebody's talking about doing a date with the book party. And how about, hey, do a Galentine's date with a book party, get your girlfriends together for chocolate. And they did it like, remember the white elephant game you do at Christmas where you know, do the presents back and forth. And you could do that with this, do a date with the book, wrap up a Vanessa or a Sheila book and haul it to the party and give people a chance. Because again, for some of us, Vanessa might be a new writer. And it's a great way to
Yes.
introduce people to that. And nothing wrong with a Galentine's party. So I'm just curious, let me know if any of you are doing Galentine's Day. We did a little, because I'm going to be doing this fun readers cruise and I'll actually be gone. What was I thinking? During Valentine's Day, Gerhardt's assignment while I'm gone is to find the chocolate on sale the day after Valentine's Day. So I'm hoping that he does not fail in his mission. But we played a really fun game I made up. It was kind of like, remember those of you, some of you are old enough to remember the Newlywed Game, where they asked the questions of the guys and then the girls and see if they answered them right. And so I made up a little game for us and had to ask some funny different questions to see if they could answer them correctly. And Robert Gerhard and I made a reel of that earlier today, so I might post that as a sample of another fun thing you could do for Valentine's Day. But that's all coming up. And let's see, what did I say? Somebody just said, oh, Nancy said, oh yeah, I know Brenda Novak's doing a Valentine's Day at her book club. You're right. So that'll be a fun thing. I saw Teddy's trying to sneak in. He's found a wig and he's going to try and sneak into the party. He's so hilarious. He's like the original photo dude. He just loves to get into the middle of whatever's going on. But that will be a fun gathering. So anyway, so just there's a thought for something for you guys if you're looking forward. And more of us still coming in. Hi, Carolyn. She's arrived from Illinois. Pam is here. All you guys, I appreciate you all showing up and getting a chance to get to know the amazing Vanessa Miller. I mean, is she like so nice or what, you guys? I mean, I hope you're enjoying hearing us talk about her career, her books, and a little bit about what she's like. And let's go back to when your first book sold. Did you have a hard time breaking into the writing business? Everybody has tales to tell usually.
Yeah. So my first book, I remember I contacted a publisher and she did not want me to write it in the way that I wanted to focus on it. And so she was like, well, change this, change that. And I really felt like the way I wrote that particular book was the way it should be. So I decided then to self-publish it. So I self-published my first book, which was titled Former Rain. And I went around to military base after military base after military base. And then I would go to different festivals. And it was a really, really busy time for me. If people look at my schedule now and they think, oh my goodness, she's doing all of this. Well, they weren't back there in my earlier days because I felt like I lived in hotels and I just, paid mortgage back. At that time, I lived in Ohio because I had to travel so much just to get the word out because I didn't have the backing of bookstores at that time. So after I self-published those books, then a new publishing company opened up. And they contacted me because I was out in all of these places and they could see, how much I was doing. And they were like, well, we're opening up a new publishing company and we want to know if, we could bring in your books. And at that time, they actually republished my my first 3 books, which I self-published. And normally they don't want the books that you've already, they want you to do something new. And so, but they republished those. And then I just continued on writing. And so yeah, I was self-published at first. And after my mom passed away in 2010, I kind of left the publishing the traditional publishing route because I had to take over responsibility for my brother who has mental retardation. And so he always needs someone to take care of him. And I know there's a new term for that. And I always forget what the new term is. But and so I knew I had to stay home and not travel as much. So because I'm a writer, I wrote anyway. So that's when I kind of went back to independent publishing because I knew it from the beginning. And so I just started, that's where all of those, when I told you I did a bunch of novellas, that's where all of those novellas came from. And then finally, after years of doing that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to come back to traditional publishing. And thankfully, a publisher, my publisher, Thomas Nelson, was ready to receive me. And I'm thankful for that till this day.
Wow. What a great, I think that is so inspiring. You just didn't sit there waiting for something to happen to you. You just went out and did it. And said, okay, you know what? I really believe in this story. I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. And I'm going to, in fact, golly, you're right up there with, I remember reading about John Grisham doing the same thing. He just had his books in the trunk of the car and he drove all over the South. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just like John Grisham. She's just going for it. That's amazing.
Well, kind of not just like John Grisham, because, you know, I wish I had the sales that he now has.
But you're doing that. It really is inspiring. And I hope as you're hearing her talk, that's encouraging because sometimes that's what it takes. You just really have to get in there and you got to do your own digging and planting for something to grow. And the fact that you were willing to do that, I think that's huge. Really.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now we had a question. Hi guys, everybody who's coming in. I know some of you, I've been of course so busy talking, I haven't said proper hellos, but who was it? Heather Ann wanted to know who some of your favorite authors are, Vanessa.
Well, I will tell you my favorite author has been Francine Rivers since I mean, for the longest, but I have some my other favorites are I like Sadiqa Johnson, Rhonda McKnight. Oh, I love her work. Vanessa Riley. I have a bunch. I love to read.
But and so many writers do, that's how some of us got into it. Although we were talking earlier, and I know you said, yeah, I was the same way. You were writing even when you were a kid. And often that's the case. Whatever you're doing as a child can be a real indication of what you'll end up wanting to do as an adult.
Yes.
Hi, guys, to Carolyn and Christy and Krista, who just joined us. So guys, I know you'll have missed quite a bit of the conversation, but you can of course go back and watch this after the fact. And I know you're going to want to. So it's just so interesting having a chance to talk to Vanessa here. And I want to also just really quickly, Vanessa, where can people find you online? I mean, I know you're on Instagram because I found you there. And whereabouts are you here on Facebook also?
I am. And so you can find me on Facebook as Vanessa Miller Pierce. And so I have my married name on my main page. And then you can also find me on author Vanessa Miller. And I have a readers group, which is just Vanessa Miller's Readers, I believe, something like that. And then on Instagram, I'm there as author Vanessa Miller.
Okay, so guys, if you want to have a chance to hang out a little bit more with Vanessa and learn a little bit more about her, you can do that. And we always have some kind of a giveaway. And so guys, I'll be pawing through things and maybe have a little surprise Valentine gifty for you. We'll pick somebody later after the fact. And I appreciate you all being here with us tonight. And it's a little bit later for Vanessa where she is, so I'm not going to keep her all night. But Vanessa, is there anything else that we need to know about what's going on with you before? Are there any other appearances you're going to make besides your big book bash? Do you have a book tour schedule up anywhere?
Absolutely. So my tour was supposed to begin in Tulsa at the Greenwood Cultural Center on March 11th. The book the filling station releases on March 11th. However, Dallas called me, and the Doc Bookshop in Dallas, they were like, Vanessa, we really want you to come here. And so I knew that Lisa Wingate lives there, and Lisa Wingate is responsible for both of these books. So she told me about the Kingdom of the Happy Land and said, Vanessa, you need to go and research this story. And so I went and researched it. And this is what brought me into being a historical fiction writer. So then I took her to breakfast when we were at the Historical Novel Society conference in, I believe that was Houston, Texas, just to thank her for, what she did with the American Queen. And then she tells me that she had just watched a story on the Discovery Channel about the 3 filling station. And so, and she was like, you need to check that out. And she said, they said that they helped people that were escaping the Tulsa Race Massacre. So I went down another rabbit hole of research. And so I started researching this story, and it was another one that I knew I had to write. So Lisa is going to be joining me on March the 10th at our book release event. Well, it's a pre-release event, and it will be at Cedar Hill Public Library, hosted by the Doc Bookshop. So there's a registration link on my website, and I believe one is also on Lisa Wingate's website. So if you live in Dallas, come join us for that. That will be on March the 10th at 7 p.m. And again, my website is VanessaMiller.com. And then I'm going to be March the 11th in Tulsa to celebrate the release of the filling station. So if you live in Tulsa, come join us for that party. Come join us for that event. And that's the registration link is on my website as well. And so all of the events where I'm going to be at are listed on my website. And so if you live near any of those, I would love, love, love for you to come out and join us.
Very cool. Okay, I have 2 more questions have come in. So before I let you go, Kathy would like to know what your favorite genre is to read. Would that be historical then, or do you like to read contemporaries, or what do you like to read?
I go through spurts. At one time, I was like this big historical romance girly. Then when I started traveling, I would listen to thrillers because that keeps me woke in the car.
Be awake.
Now I'm terrified. I'm like, I really have to be watching. But I love thrillers. I love Christian fiction. Christian fiction is probably one of my favorite genres, but I also love women's fiction. I love stories about, women who are just trying to make it, trying to get it right, and also just trying to rise back up from different trials and just triumph in life. But of course, since now I'm doing historical fiction, I'm reading a lot of historical fiction, and so that has become one of my favorite genres. But as you can see, I'm just really eclectic in my choices. I like a lot of different books and different genres. It's not just one for me, but I mostly what I look for, I like clean stories. And so as long as it's clean stories, I can read it.
So you're a closed door girly.
I'm a closed door girly. I really am.
Gotcha. And one more question from Cindy. She wants to know how many hours in the day that you write.
Do you want to know how many hours in the day I write, or how many hours in the day I procrastinate and think about the fact that I should be writing? Because those are 2 different things. I am a big procrastinator, but when I'm writing, I write about I would say I'm writing at least 6 hours of the day, 4 to 6, depending on how the flow is going for me. And then the rest of the day is like marketing stuff and things like that. But when I've got a really good flow, it's 4 to 6 hours usually when I finish a scene, I kind of go, okay, that's it for the day, and then I'll start a new scene the next day. But sometimes one scene can take me about 4 hours. It just depends, because I am one that will go back and correct it. But after I write it and I've have it done for that day, I usually don't come back to it until I have a big chunk of the work done.
Just keep moving on. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like to kind of forget about it so that when I go back to it, it's a little fresher, and then I can just rip it up. I feel like if I keep looking at it, then I'm not going to see the problems because it's not fresh to me. So that's just my process.
For sure. And yeah, I understand that too. Sometimes I think, oh man, this was so brilliant. And then I step away for a while. I come back to it and go, oh, this
Right.
needs work. So,
Yes, yes,
oh my
yes.
gosh. It's something we can so fall in love with what we're writing that sometimes you just, everything we write is our baby. And so you don't always want to admit that maybe your baby could use a little bit of work.
Yeah. Now, I like to say I throw trash on the page when I'm first writing, because I truly believe, I mean, you cannot fix a blank page. So just go ahead and just write. Don't
Yeah.
worry about, how does this sound? Is this great? Does this work? Just write it. And then you come back and a little time away from it, and then you come back and you're able to just tear it up and make it something that's really good.
Yeah, just barf it out there because you can always fix it once it's out, but you got to get
Correct.
the story out and moving, and then you can do the polishing and the fine tuning once that's there.
Absolutely.
Well, as you guys can see, Vanessa is a hard worker, and I love the fact that all your hard work has paid off and that you're doing well. And I think that's so inspiring for all of us. And for those of you who had to join us late, I hope you'll go back and watch this so that you can catch up with everything that she said and
Mhm.
that you won't miss out. And please feel free to share it. If you have someone who you think might be interested in meeting a new historical author, please be
Mhm.
sure to share this with them so that they can have a chance to meet Vanessa too. So I'm going to say adios, guys. And next week, I will be headed off to cruise around in the Caribbean with some readers and having a good time there. But I'll be
Have
back later
fun.
in the month with more authors. And meantime, I do hope you enjoyed getting to know Vanessa. And we will be talking soon, guys. And so stay tuned and check things out and see who might get a goodie. So good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
We'll see
Thank
you
you
soon.
so much.